said you like to be on your own, but baby, you know that I can't let you go. No, I can't let you go. No, I can't let you go. You said you like to be on your own.
Alright, y'all, so today we have our hands for the very first time on Studio One 5. Okay, so shouts out to the people at Personas for hooking us up with this. Today for my first video, I thought I would break down one of the most important things in music production, in beat making, which is how to mix your beats properly. Now, there's a bunch of different ways to do this. I've seen a bunch of different tutorials online, but the best way that I've found to do it is what I'm going to be showing you today. And the best part is, all of the plugins used in this video are going to be either free or stock plugins in Studio One. So you all will all have access to this as long as you have Studio One. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop over to Studio One and get right into it. Alright, y'all. So the beat that we're going to be working with today is one that I made the other day. And I've already mixed it, but what I'm going to do is I've turned off all the mixing stuff. Only thing on here is a limiter, and we're just going to listen to how it sounds, a little preview of what it sounds like right now without any mixing done to it. So yeah, not really bad, but definitely is missing some stuff. It's got a very muddy mix. So what we're going to do is I've separated the beat into 3 different categories. You have all the melody instruments up here, any drum things, here you have the clap, everything's labeled. All of that is in the red section, and finally the bass is these purple ones with the 808 and the kick. Those are our bass elements in this beat. So yeah, what I did was I went and I highlighted all of the melody tracks. I right-clicked and I pressed Add Bus for selected channels. That gave me this bus right here for the melody, and I proceeded to do the same thing with all of the drums. Just right-click and press Add Bus, and same with these. And so now I have my 3 buses right here. You can see if I play the beat. If I solo one, it's just going to be the melody. If I solo another, it's just going to be my drum elements. And if I solo the last one, it's just the bass, the kick, and the 808. And so what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to mix each different kind of sound independently, and just overall get a lot better mix on the beat. So let's go ahead and let's jump right into the melody first. First thing that I did was I added a high pass filter, because this is really the most important thing when mixing melodies and the bass together. You do not want clashing frequencies. You don't want your melodies to get in the way of your 808. You don't want your 808 to not hit as hard. So what you need to do is get rid of all the frequencies that are down there with the 808. You'll see before I had the EQ on, it sounded like this. And then when I turn it on, and like I said, all that does is it just takes some stuff out of the low end so that it doesn't clash with the 808. Next thing I did was I added this Bittersweet plugin. It's a free plugin by Flux, and all I did was just literally just threw it on and turned it up to a little bit more bitter. That just adds a little bit more flavor, a little bit more grit to the melody. So this is what it sounds like without it, and then with it. Just a little bit more to the melodies there. Next thing I added was a Camel Crusher, which is a free sort of distortion compressor plugin. Really just, again, adds a little bit more flavor to the beat. So this is what that sounds like without it. And I know it feels like it's getting a little quieter, but we're going to take care of that right now. What I did was I just added a stock compressor. I think it's on default. I messed with the settings a little bit. This is what it looks like Ratio's down 2 to 1. Turn the threshold up or whatever, and that just boosted the volume a little bit. So here's what it sounds like without the compressor, and then with it. Just brought everything forward a little bit. And so the last thing I did was I added this ozone imager from Isotope. It's a free plugin, and basically when you turn it on, it takes the stereo image of all the melodies and it just widens it, makes it a lot more spacious and a lot more full. So here's without the plugin. And then what I'll do is, I'll set this down back to 0%. We'll turn it on, and you can kind of hear the effect as I apply it. So yeah, all that does is just kind of make it have a wider sound. And with that, that's all you have to do for the melodies. That's what I do for pretty much every single melody that I do. I do sometimes use, instead of the stock compressor, the best compressor that I found to actually use instead is the Waves RVox Mono, which is or stereo, the RVox stereo, which is literally, I'd say if you can buy one compressor in your producing career, this is the one you need to get, because it's really just a cheat code. Producers all over the place use it. It's really just a cheat code for adding volume, and there's no real explanation for what it does. It just works. So I'll leave that on for now. You can technically get the same effect with a regular compressor, but I like the RVox and how it sounds, and so we're gonna apply that instead. I'm gonna turn down the compression here like this. And that, like I said, just adds some volume, adds a lot more fullness to it, and it's really, like I said, kind of like a cheat sheet. So the next thing that I moved on to was the drums. It's all the high-end drum percussion elements, from the clap to the snare to the percs, hi-hats, everything, except for the 808 and the kick, run into this one bus right here. So the first thing I did was I added an EQ where I boosted some of the high end and some of the low end, just to accentuate those frequencies. You can hear it here. You can see some of the percs are hitting in the lower area, so I just added that to just sort of boost those a little bit. And then I added another EQ, and what I did here was I added a raise at about 8.2 kilohertz and boosted it just by about 2 dB. I found that by itself will add just a little bit more richness to the hi-hats and everything, just bring it forward a lot more. So we'll listen without it, and then with it, like I said, just brings the hi-hats out a little bit more. Then I added the same Bittersweet plugin, only turned it up by a little bit, and then again just another compressor. This one I have on drum bus, just generic, and then I think I turned the attack up a little bit and maybe mess with the threshold. I'm not really sure. You can copy these settings if you need to, but that's just a stock compressor. So this is what it sounds like with all the effects, without them, and with them again. So yeah, like I said, just adds a lot more richness and a lot more flavor to them. Finally, moving on, last but not least, I went to this bass bus with my 808 and my kick. What I did was I added a compressor on the hard preset. I think this is just straight up the hard preset. I don't know. Actually, no, that's a lie. I did mess with this one some. These are the settings I have, though, for it. So if you want to copy these, you can. I found that what it does is it boosts the volume without it clipping and just lets it get kind of a higher volume and more presence in the beat. So this is what that sounds like without it, and then with it. it just adds a little bit more richness, but obviously it takes away the volume a little bit. So what I did then was I added one of these limiters. I put it on 0 dB limiting and soft clip. This is equivalent to a Fruity soft clipper almost. It just adds as much volume as you can get. Just make sure you're not clipping. And when this is at full volume, you'll be able to hear it a lot more. But like I said, I have it turned down right now, just so that it doesn't clip on the master channel. And then finally, what I did was on the master channel, I just did a 0 dB limiting. I didn't put anything, and then you adjust the gain to the volume to where it just barely is doing anything. It sort of acts as a maximizer. If you want, you can get Ozone 9 elements for fairly cheap. That will come with the stereoizer that I showed earlier, but it also comes with a maximizer and some other stuff. So usually when I'm doing it, not with the free and stock plugins, I'll throw this Ozone 9 elements on here. And if you go to this maximizer plugin, that will help you a lot with your volume. Here, I'll show you this one in action real quick. I'll play the beat. And you'll see that we still have some headroom. So I'll set my ceiling to about -1 and then turn the threshold down until I see it start working. And what that does is it just fully gets our volume all the way out. That's actually a little too much here. Let's adjust it. I forgot to unmute the melodies, but that it's really close to 0 dB. But like I said, you can get pretty much the same effect with a limiter, with just a stock limiter. So what I do is I put it on 0 dB limiting. The gain would be at 0. Play the beat, and I turn it up until it just barely starts. You can see on the yellow line right here when it starts working. What that does is it will just show you when it starts working. As soon as you see yellow, just hold it off. That's already as high as it needs to go. Otherwise, you're going to get some weird clipping and distortion. But yeah, with that, that's all I really do to mix my beats. It's a very simple process. I do this with just about every single beat unless I'm making some sort of other random genre. But any sort of hip-hop trap beat, this is the mixing style that I use. And it's definitely really easy, really simple, and something that I just think that everyone can do to just instantly make their beats sound better. So yeah, that's about all I'm gonna say in this video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you like the video, and comment down below what you want to see next. Again, shout out to Personas for hooking me up with Studio 1.5 for this video. I'm gonna be doing a lot more tutorials, so make sure that you are watching for those. And yeah, that's about it. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. All of those will be in the description. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.